and introduce yourself, please, sir.
And John Lombardi, LSU System. I just have a few comments. We spoke about a lot of these issues in the previous testimony. The only thing I'd like to say is that I think Representative Edwards is correct that this constitutional amendment is too narrowly drawn. I think what you really want is a single board. Then you would construct a constitutional amendment that would create a single board, and then that board could distribute whatever authorities and management responsibilities it believed appropriate to individual institutions. It could rearrange institutions to whatever it wants. I think what you have here is creating a constitutional entity in the Board of Regents that will have lots of powers, but those powers will conflict here, there, and elsewhere with other powers in the Constitution that are reserved to management boards. Furthermore, if it's done as anticipated and described by the Council of the Board of Regents, what it will do is render the management functions of the management board moot, and therefore you really don't need those management functions because you can't manage if you don't have authority, and all the authority will be centered in the Board of Regents, who will issue their directions, and presumably the goal of the management board would be to pass those through in an email to the heads of the institutions for them to deal with those as required. And so this seems to me to be a disguised one board bill, and you ought to just say what you want to do and do it. And if that's what you want to do, which I wouldn't advise you as doing, it doesn't work very well in most places that have these kinds of institutional structures, but that is certainly within the purview of the legislature. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Representative Carmody for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mine is very quick. Dr. Lombardi, based on your testimony, would you rather us be bringing a constitutional amendment to eliminate the Board of Regents? Would that be something more palatable to you?
Well, if I were, if I had a blank sheet, if I had a blank sheet, I think what you would do is you would have a higher education policy council that would be composed of representatives of the legislature, representatives of the systems, and they would meet and set the policy directives, and then you would hold the management boards responsible for the performance of their institutions against those policy directives.